Question: What happens after CGFNS send your application to Nursing Council? Answer: The Nursing Council of New Zealand will review your application against the 7 registration standards and make a decision regarding your registration. Details up next. In order to be eligible to register, there are 7 registration standards. Number 1 is identity. Number 2 is English language. Number 3 is current registration. Number 4 is nursing qualification. Number 5 is post-registration experience. Number 6 is fitness to practice. And number 7 is competence to practice. By the way, if we're just meeting, kia ora! My name is Binibining Veronica. I am not an agency. I'm not an expert as well, but I'm just a nurse who is very fortunate, to live here in New Zealand, and I share my life story here in YouTube. So yeah, if you're new here, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. Salamat po! So today's video is about step number 3. If you missed step 1 and step 2, you can watch it right here or down the link below, alright? And last year I've also created a step-by-step video, so you can also check it out as well. Hopefully that will be helpful for you. So once Nursing Council receives the report from CGFNS, they're just going to review your documents against the 7 registration standards. So for example, first is identity, just making sure that you are who you say you are. And number 2 is English language requirements. So for English language, you can take either IELTS or OET. For OET, you must achieve a minimum score of 350 for each band. For IELTS, you must achieve a minimum score of 7 in each band of the academic test. You can also achieve the minimum score in the English language test over more than one sitting. However, the required score must be met within 12 months of first sitting the test and less than 3 years old when your CGFNS report is submitted to Nursing Council. So for example, if you took IELTS and your score, for example, in January 2021, writing, speaking, listening 7, but reading you're like 6.5, and you took the exam again come March 2021, and this time you got reading 7, speaking 7, listening 7, but your writing is 6.5, you can actually combine the 2 results together, and yeah, in that sense, you would have achieved the required 7 scores on each band test. I hope that helped you somehow. And did you know you can actually apply for a waiver of the English language exam? It all depends if your education, your nursing education was obtained in UK, Ireland, Canada, or USA, or if you have a nursing registration there, you have to provide proof that you've actually had to take an English exam in order to get your license in those countries. But again, this is reviewed on a case-by-case basis, and some people who apply for waiver may not be granted at all. So just keep that in mind. So next is current registration. So you have to provide that you are registered in the country where you obtained your nursing education. So for example, when I applied, I've submitted my PRC license, my nursing license from PRC. For nursing qualification, you should have completed a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. I think for nurses who were trained in the Philippines, that's pretty much very straightforward because we've all completed a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing degree. From other countries, I do know that some institution may only be offering diploma courses. And for those situations, I think that it's best to contact Nursing Council directly because I do know that you may not be eligible to be registered as a registered nurse in New Zealand, but they may offer you to register or apply as an enrolled nurse instead. But again, it's case-to-case basis. So yeah. Post-registration experience. You must be able to provide evidence that you have practiced nursing for at least 2 years, including 2,500 hours, within the last 5 years as defined below. If you have not worked as a nurse for at least 2 of the last 5 years, you may still apply for the credential verification service. However, there is no guarantee that you will be recommended for registration. And more importantly, if you have no post-registration experience at all, you are not eligible to apply for registration. And by the way, if you want to grab more of my notes, just like what I've been showing you so far, you can go directly to our Facebook group, Notes by Veronica, and that's where I upload most of my templates, my worksheets, and my checklists. It's just easier to do it that way. But yeah, you're welcome to join our group and download these checklists for yourself. And I also get a lot of questions around the clinical experience. Ma'am, what if I'm a nurse manager, I'm a school nurse, community nurse, clinic nurse, or maybe I'm a nurse educator, nurse researcher, clinical instructor, nurse in a company because I am the occupational health nurse there. Can I still apply? And the answer from Nursing Council says that as long as your scope of practice is similar to the scope of practice for registered nurses in New Zealand, then they may consider your application. So, according to the Nursing Council website, the definition of the registered nurse scope of practice means registered nurses utilize nursing knowledge and complex nursing judgment to assess health needs and provide care, and to advise and support people to manage their health. They practice independently and in collaboration with other health professionals, perform general nursing functions, and delegate to and direct enrolled nurses, healthcare assistants, and others. They provide comprehensive assessments to develop, implement, and evaluate an integrated plan of healthcare and provide interventions that require substantial scientific and professional knowledge, skills, and clinical decision making. This occurs in a range of different settings in partnership with individuals, families, whānau, and communities. If you are enjoying this video, then please don't forget to supplement, subscribe, like, and comment. Next is fitness to practice. You must be able to demonstrate that you're fit to practice. And during this part of your application, the Nursing Council will advise you to apply for International Criminal History Check. So yeah, just make sure that you don't really have to worry, when will I apply for this? You will get an email correspondent from the Nursing Council and they'll give you instructions for that. For your reference, you are required to complete an international criminal history check for every country you have lived in for 12 months or more over the last 10 years. The ICHC must be completed through fittowork.com.au. If you have lived in New Zealand for 6 months or more, you are required to complete a criminal history check through the Ministry of Justice. You must also be able to demonstrate that you are competent to practice in New Zealand, and many nurses who have been registered overseas will need to complete a competency assessment program before they are granted New Zealand registration. In some instances, if you hold a current registration in the United Kingdom, Ireland, Australia, Singapore, USA, or Canada, you may not need to complete CAP because the registered nurse role and healthcare contexts in those countries are similar to New Zealand. Do you have to complete CAP? Can you be exempted from doing CAP? All of those are decisions made by the Nursing Council of New Zealand, and like what I've been saying all along, most of these cases are reviewed on an individual basis. But it's good to know that these are the options, these are the possibilities for you. Question of the day: are you also thinking of moving to New Zealand? Which of these steps do you find most difficult? Which is the easiest? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, I wish you all the best with your journey, and I hope you will be blessed. I'll see you soon. Bye!